we have some special guests with us this morning to join us to kick off a really, really exciting day here at the track. Our friends from Beck Classa, Philip, former 400-meter hurdle record holder, Kevin Young, and then we have our fantastic coaches here, Leif, Helena, and Greg. Today we're just going to have a really fun, casual conversation talking about two fantastic athletes and all the exciting stuff they've done throughout their career, what makes them so special, and also a little bit about just tonight's special event. And we'll leave some time for some small Q&A if anyone has any questions or things they're curious about at the end. But I'll hand it over to you, Philip, and we'll start.
Yeah, hello everyone, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. I hope everybody knows what the people achieved who are sitting here. Like Kevin was like the world record holder before Karsten took over. Olympic champion '92 in Barcelona. Yeah, first man to break the 47.
Yeah. When Karsten ran, he broke records.
Yes, and then, like the coach of Karsten and Greg as a former pole vaulter and coach of Mondo, and Helena as a former heptathlete. So they all grew up in the track circle. So I think the best thing would be we start like with the questions right from the beginning. I can start with a couple of questions. If you have, just wave or ask, so that the conversation would start with everybody together, not just a Q&A from here, because we have these press conferences all over, and it's good to have a talk with all you guys. So if someone's want to come closer because it's too loud or you don't hear it back there, just move forward. So yeah, we have this big clash tonight, this 100, and I see you're excited about it, and you guys are as well. How did that start? We have these pictures from Monaco. Is it really there, or was this an idea just like before Monaco as well, like before they started to talk to each other at the Diamond League?
As far as I know, it happened there. Yeah. You might know something else, and it was.
No, I think that's right.
But it kind of started with Shelley-Ann calling Mondo out in the press conference, like questioning his sprinting ability, and I still remember the only answer was from him was like, I know, like she asked like, what can you run? Like, I can beat you, and then I think that idea just started.
And then we're in Monaco, and he came up with these great shoes, and then Mondo was interested in Karsten's shoes, and he was showing them, and he said happened to have the same size. He tried them, and then they start talking about sprinting, and that's where it started.
And the trash talk started.
Yeah. The trash talk started. Yeah, that's it. So he already tested the shoes in Monaco and felt comfortable.
Yes.
And felt fast.
Yes.
And was ready to take it on.
Yeah, he was probably the first one I saw that was able to handle it right off the bat. I saw him accelerate, and it looked really, really good. And he felt it, and he felt what the shoe can do. So, yeah, what I'm like looking forward to is we know Mondo was doing like track in high school, did run out of the blocks, but didn't do it for a long time, like as a regular, maybe in practice, or I don't. Or is it something he started after Monaco to get used to?
No, it's always been part of our practice to do some blocks on sprint day. So it's not like he's not totally like unfamiliar with the blocks, but never like he only did 3 real races with the blocks, 100 meters in high school.
Okay, only 3.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So.
You know how to start like out of the blocks as a hurdler. It's maybe a little bit different than like a real sprinter. What's different? Because you have to have the rhythm to the first one.
Yes, it's interesting because we've seen over the years how a lot of the athletes are starting now. They're toe dragging and all that sort of stuff, and those are sort of things I know when it came to block work, that wasn't really done. That particular, I guess, idea of the science of driving out of the blocks, dragging your toe. I think Christian Coleman does it when he prepares or when he starts. Which, if you can accomplish that and do it and it's effective, I think it's amazing. But yeah, but in my case, one thing I was always thought about while in the blocks, was always on my mind is just don't false start. Just sit, if you have to sit in the block, sit in there and don't false start. So really didn't have much of a...
So a little bit more, be aware that you're not reacting to something different, just waiting on the gunshot.
Waiting on the gun. Obviously you got photographers, you have everything else going on in the background, you got your competitors, and of course you don't want to be that person being that one hearing that second gunshot go off, So,
you have.
Thank you. Oh. Yes, for you. You can do it.
So it's better now, huh? It's better for my voice as well. So if someone want to jump in with some questions, just start, yeah?
I just wanted to ask, y'all both coach high caliber athletes, so when this idea came, were y'all hesitant at any point to say like, no, we don't want you to do it, or were you like from the get-go on it?
We start with you. Yeah.
Well, from the beginning, we thought it was a really fun idea. The concern was the timing of it. Of course, we weren't going to consider doing something like that before the Olympics. Possible injury or something like that. I'm sure that y'all wouldn't consider it either. But from the beginning, we thought it was a cool idea, and it was all about getting the timing. I'm surprised that it worked out. That we got it to work out, but we're excited.
No, I agree. It's very well put. Of course, there is a small chance of injury, and that's a little concern. But like Greg said, after the Olympics, it's a less of a catastrophe. But of course, you're a little bit nervous. But I think the chance is little, but it's there. And from the coaches is to reduce the chance to a minimum is over everyday life.
So, like a follow-up to your answers, you said like the slight chance of an injury. Is it because they take it like too serious and it's out of their comfort zone? Because if you hear the trash talk, they don't want to lose.
Now, these are two extremely good athletes in their event, and this is something a little bit different. And both of them, I think, hate to lose. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of gasoline left when they finish the finish line.
Yeah.
Someone else? So, you were, as a top athlete back in the days, right. If something happened like this, who do you want to race at that time?
Oh, if I had a head-to-head? If I had a head-to-head with a particular athlete, probably Mike Powell. Yeah, it'll be Mike Powell, long jump world record. When we're in school together, we bragged a lot prior to each one of us setting records, and that little fire always was never put out, and so it would definitely be Mike Powell.
Over a distance of 100 meters or another distance? Or did you say Mike Powell because he was slower than Carl Lewis?
He didn't say Carl Lewis.
No, I didn't say Carl. It'll be over a distance like 200 meters. I need an opportunity to open up my legs and get the stride going on. It'll be a little difficult for me in the first 10, 15 meters. But once I got on top of the leg speed. I'll be upon it. But the crazy thing is, just kind of bringing it into perspective, just literally watching Karsten race the way in which he runs the hurdles. You've been coaching him for a number of years, and he's doing things that hurdlers would never consider at that time. One of the things I remember when I ran the Olympic race in '92, getting to the first hurdle in 6 seconds. Now these guys are getting to the first hurdle in 5.5 seconds, 5.6, a half a second faster than I had attempted to even get to a hurdle. And for me to see them, watch them do that, it blows my mind, because in my head is always you got to reserve some of the energy. But watching Karsten, he really changed the game. And to me, it's just taking the race out, running from an outside lane, things in which a lot of the hurdlers in the past were shrugged. We want to be in the center of the lane, not necessarily too tight in the inside. And we definitely weren't running as fast in the beginning. The only few hurdles I think probably ran fast out of the blocks was probably Danny Harris and Danny Hammers.
Those two.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking in the audience. There are no questions right now? Another one.
Yeah, I have another one. Okay, so you know your athletes better than anybody else in the world. From your perspective, do you think it's going to come down to the tape, or do you think it's going to be like a complete blowout?
That's a really good question, but I think the most interesting thing here is that no one really knows. You know, I have an idea of what my athlete can do. I'm sure they have an idea of what Mondo can do, but it's like been 7-8 years since they ran. We don't know, and that's why you are all here. That's why it's interesting. And some of the sprinters said they would want to join, and we said that's not interesting. We know what you can do. You run every week, and this gentleman had the world record for 29 years. That should be an applause.
I don't think none of you 29 years old. You're all under 30. You're all under 30, right?
And also what Kevin said, when Karsten started to run as hard as he did from the blocks, people said he's starting too fast. I said no, he finished too slow yet.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's an amazing point.
Do you have something to the question?
Yeah, Ken, I mean,
it's always
I hope
like
it's
a
going to
relay.
be coming down to the finish line. That's going to be exciting, but like you never know in the perfect world what kind of start when you haven't done it in so many years, and how do you maintain the spring mechanics and don't tighten up, and I don't know. But that's what's the fun part of this. Who knows?
yeah. I mean, the thing about it that's fun is that we both have an idea of what our athletes can run. We think we don't know, and his assessment of what Karsten can run and mine of what Mondo can run is very close, and so we think it's going to be very close.
And I promise you one thing: there is not a done deal. They haven't decided to make it close on purpose. They're going to go all out for sure. For sure, this is not, you're not being had.
So for once when the race is finished and then we have a winner and a loser, and what's going to happen then? Will there be a rematch maybe sometimes, or maybe another discipline, long jump, or hammer?
I think it's a little bit early for that, but I think the interesting thing here is also that speed is something that's important in both pole vault and the hurdles. So the quality is an important one. It's not maybe the decisive one, but it's a really important one. But it's not the 100-meter speed, but it's a base. And 100-meter is something that a lot of people can relate to. So I'm glad it created some interest.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised about probably the sprinting speed which pole vaulters may have. I remember when I was at UCLA, we had a pole vaulter by the name of Mike Keyboard. And Mike Keyboard, I would watch him as a pole vaulter. Many times he ran on our 4x1 at UCLA when one of our other guys were kind of faking a hamstring pull or something like that, and he was ready to go all the time. Like, put me in. I think it was 10-4, 10-3, 10-4, 100-meter guy back in college. He was up one of my top, at the time, one of our top pole vaulters.
Well, I think for American relays, it's good to have someone in the team who can handle a pole or a baton.
Too soon. Came hard, right? It's so funny. I'm surprised we hadn't seen any comic book artists actually have a American runner or someone with a USA singlet on with a pole vault extending it in his arm. That's crazy. Matter of fact, I think I would draw that. But yeah, that was a good one. It's a zinger.
So, yeah.
You talked about what you think your athletes can do, but do you have a time that you think is possible? You know the PBs, whether it's Do you have like a time you think is possible for Mondo and Karsten?
It depends a little bit on the weather at the table, maybe.
Yeah, it all, like the time is relative. I mean, they're running against each other. I don't think anyone cares about the time, really.
Yeah.
It's who wins. But, you know, I think with good conditions and things that get good starts, I think both can run under 10:40. That's my idea. And Mondo ran 10:57 when he was 17. I ran in, like, I could run sub 10:50, and so yeah.
Yes.
I did not run 10:50. This conversation.
I'll say the most important thing for a sprinter is to choose your parents carefully. If he ran under 10:40, then I tell you, Mondo got a big advantage.
So you both coached 2 world record holders. What would you say the secret is to success?
Well, I just said choose your parents carefully. Track and field is a genetic sport, but it's unbelievable how much you can do with training over time. A lot of people say trust the process. I'd start a little before that. I said make a good process and trust it.
I mean, I think at least Mondo's part, as far as his success, is that he has so many components of being a great athlete, both physically, mentally, and he's pretty much not perfect, but very ideal body for a pole vaulter. So, I don't know. I think he has a lot of good components.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think with all athletes in Mondo in particular, I competed in pole vaulting too, and it started in the 1970s when I didn't know anything. Very few people knew much about pole vaulting, and so I made lots of mistakes. And so my thing when I started with Mondo was, let's not make mistakes. And so as long as the athlete goes better and better and better and better, they just keep getting, and before long you're really good, as long as you don't take a step backwards. Sometimes it's not possible because you get hurt, but doing things to prevent injury is also super important. So if you don't, and then Mondo's been both, you know, some of it is preparation and plan, and some of it is luck, you know, that he hasn't gotten hurt often or very seriously. And so, yeah, I mean, just keep moving forward. It's so important.
I like what Greg says there, because I think it's you have to make mistakes. I think it's really smart to make that mistake once, admit it was a mistake, and learning from other people's mistake is very smart.
So we have the perspective of the coaches of a world record holder, but we have an actually former world record holder here. What's your perspective on this? Like you experienced the opposite way.
Well, you know what? I spent my time from a collegian up until me running fast in the shadows of Evan Moses and what he did. Yeah, as the legend of our sport. And I think it's only right to, when we have these conversations, know how he used to line it up and be very particular in how he raced. And it's interesting how the training which these coaches are doing, they're making and creating workouts obviously specific for their athlete, but they're looking at it as the key thing is they're making sure the youngsters I call them youngsters, they're out there having fun. And that's one thing I really appreciate when I see these younger athletes, because it was a time when I raced with guys, everybody seemed to be disgruntled. Everybody seemed to be all tight and just upset, you know. And whenever you have an opportunity to do something that you love in the world of athletics, the scheme of athletics, I think it's incredible. And it's indicative when I see those two athletes participate, Mondo and Karsten, that they really have a lot of fun. They interact with the pole vaulters, period. They interact with everybody. And I think that's an energy that the sport really needs. And it's the growth of watching those athletes do what they do in the sport is really, in my case, especially in the intermediates, I think I'm the most relevant individual. I feel that I'm the most relevant individual in the world of sports with Sydney running the women's race, Karsten running Karsten and the team of men intermediate hurdlers doing what they're doing. Each time they go out there and run, I pat myself on the back and say, wow, you know, they're representing, they're keeping the level in the measuring stick so high that the youngsters can't do nothing but follow up in their greatness. You know, so I'm just wondering, when is Mondo going to jump 6:30?
Hopefully soon. Yeah, hopefully we'll do it soon. That's such a good point, though. And it's credit to her, because Helena does his physical training, but and whether this is the perfect thing to do or not, Mondo primarily does in training what he likes, and he doesn't do what he doesn't like. And he loves to pole vault, obviously, and he loves to run. He hates to lift, and he pretty much hates everything except running and pole vaulting. And so that's the primary stuff that he does. And he's like happy and excited about training when he's pole vaulting and running. He's not too excited when he's lifting. He does do some of that, of course, we'll let Mom fill in on some of that. But
what I'm thinking about talking about enjoying. Not only does he enjoy pole vault, but he actually loves to compete. I mean, I do have some athletes that we have coached, and they'd rather train than compete, and I think that's a really big part of being successful too, that you really love to compete.
So like a couple of more questions. So let's do one.
So question for both coaches. I know, you know, in the winter we see Karsten with these viral clips of him running in the snow and like, you know, doing this crazy speed. And then even Mondo, he's recently spoke about, you know, training with doing block starts with like Fred Curley. I'm curious if we'll ever get a chance to see some of the behind the scenes training that led up to this 100-meter race.
I don't think we have a lot. Mondo's done some block starts, did some with Fred Curley. He's done some. Who else has he done stuff with?
I mean, this is not really the part of the season that you can actually go back and train for something like this. You just have to, hopefully, whatever you did in the fall and early spring, that you still can carry that training with you, because this part of the season is not much training going on, not our part. Too much traveling and competing and recovering.
Also about the same. We went 2 times to be in the blocks to try to change a little bit. I think Karsten even sent it to Usain, and his response was he wasn't too impressed. But he suggested he should try to run out of the blocks, not walk. But I hope it was humor. But it's like they're saying it's not the primarily most important thing, but once you're in the block there, I'm sure they're gonna take it really seriously.
So one more.
Okay, what's one piece of advice you're going to give your athletes before they step on the line and race for 100 meters?
Not losing, maybe.
I would repeat that the speed cannot be forced. Do your thing. Don't injure yourself.
Like you're running against Freddie Curley.
Yeah, I'm the same with just relax. Yeah, relax, have fun.
So I hope everyone has fun tonight with this competition, and I'm sure I will have fun to watch that. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope it's going to be a good competition. So I thank you very much for coming, and tell your athletes that we're cheering for both.